jamming, doing some poems and answering questions. So if you have any questions for your Poet Laureate, just get ready to put those, shoot them in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Hey, Chloe, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to be kicking off this event, Meet Your Poet Laureate. Really appreciate you guys for joining me. If you have any questions for me about how poetry is going to impact the city of Knoxville, or what are we going to do? Someone said you want one of these shirts? All right, we'll get you one. I just got to put in the order. Hey, Nija, thank you guys so much for joining. It means so much. And thank you everybody on Instagram. Hey, I don't know who Ma Didi is, but I must be your teacher. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. We are going to be doing some poetry and answering questions. So any questions that you have about poetry in the city of Knoxville or in the city of Oak Ridge, because I live and I work in Oak Ridge. So any questions that you might have, please shoot them to me. I'm going to be answering questions and performing poems and reading some poems and just sharing a good time with everybody that is here. Y'all got me for a full hour. I'm gonna be on here from 6 to 7, and I'm gonna try to make sure I'm looking at both cameras because y'all are everywhere. And so good things are happening in the city of Knoxville for poetry. Look out, because National Poetry Month is going to be monumental. We're doing something that we have never done before, and we are going to be doing poetry in the city, all over the city, in locations. Welcome to my Aunt Barbara out of Florida. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Hey! Thank you so much. So we're going to kick off in about 4 minutes. Thank you for attending, Mayor Kincannon. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm going to kick off in about 4 minutes with some good old poetry. And then after that, it's just questions and poetry. Hey, Madison. And I really, really, really appreciate you being here. Because I was worried that nobody was going to show up and I was just going to be doing poems for an hour. So thank you guys so much for showing up. I'm going to kick everything off, like I said, in about 4 minutes. Just jam to the music for just a little while we give people some time to filter in. Really, really excited about what is going down in the city of Knoxville for poetry and for peace and unity and all kinds of wonderfulness. So yes, woo, we are going to get it moving. I'm going to tell you about everything that's happening in the month of April and how you can get involved if you're a poet, and if you're not a poet, where you can see some great poetry in the month of April. And yeah, we're just going to have a good time for about an hour. We got 3-minute countdown, 3 minutes, 3-minute countdown until I kick everything off. So thank you for all the hearts. Y'all make my heart so happy. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so, so much for being here. Tell your friends, spread the word, all that good stuff. Let's pack this out and let's have us a good time doing some poems for about an hour and answering questions. So to everybody you know, hey Abigail, thanks for joining. I'm loving it. Yes, got all my students joining to share some poetry with me for a little while. Got Mayor Kincannon on. Got Patricia here. I think, let's see, I got a couple other people. So if you're here, go ahead and drop a note and just say, hey, it's me. And let me know so that I can give you a shout out. All right? Well, I got like 2 more minutes, 2 minute countdown now, 2 minutes until I kick everything off for the first piece for the night. And I am super excited about what we're about to do. We're about to make history. I don't think anybody else has done this. America Canada, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think anybody else has done this. So this is for the whole city of Knoxville. Come out and share with us so we can use poetry to start generating conversations. That's really what I want to do over the time that I am the Poet Laureate, is use poetry to generate some conversations. And so I'm going to ask for your feedback. Feel free to jump into the Zoom so that everybody can hear you and see you if you want to. Otherwise, you are welcome to just watch and participate through your fingers on Facebook and Instagram. First time, yay! I love doing first. I'm a first type of girl. So I'm super excited. Yes. All right. So I think it's almost time, guys. As soon as this clock turns 6 o'clock, I'm like chomping at the bit to start with a poem. And I'm really, really excited. So if you have questions, once again, just drop those questions in one of the chat rooms on Instagram or on Facebook so that I can see it and that I can answer your questions. So it's 6 o'clock, y'all. Let's get this party started. Oh, yeah. Gonna shut down, slide, and family stone. You know how that is. All right. So welcome to Meet Your Poet Laureate. First time ever in the history of Knoxville. We are meeting the Poet Laureate and asking questions, trying to figure out what it is that we do as Poet Laureates around the city of Knoxville and why it is so important that we use poetry to start generating conversations and connecting people across our city. It is going to be amazing, the things that you are going to see while I am here. So wonderful. Let's kick this bad boy off. I got a poem. It's fairly new. A couple of people have heard it, but it's called Born in Knoxville. I was not birthed in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I was born here. I emerged from the cocoon of my youth to accept my greatness, launched into a sea of orange and learned to swim in the secret of my shade. I remain here because I believe in the ability of a city to power a world with their energy, shine bright like a sun sphere. No matter where I go, I carry the spirit of Knoxville in my soul. I write poems of its beauty. I travel miles to share time with volunteers. I speak with a little more twang than before, still sometimes too fast, but Knoxville has allowed me to call it home. They say that home is where your heart is. I say home is where I learned what love is. Home is where I learned the power of my words. It taught me the beauty of my gifts. Home has wounded me and healed me. Home has taught me policies and separation, togetherness and truth. Home has shunned me and welcomed me, helped me become the poet I am today. Home is not always perfect, not always sunshine, not always green grass. Sometimes it rains for days, sometimes it snows, and sometimes it just speaks of snow and shuts down. But home is Knoxville. It is the sound of music drifting into the air from Market Square. It is East Knoxville stories of grandeur and change. It is more restaurants than you can visit, more trails than you can hike, more football than you can tolerate, more orange than you would expect. But Knoxville is where I find myself feeling warmth and inspiration, learning history of revitalization and separation. I found my voice here. Loud, proud, Black, and beautiful. I wasn't birthed in this city, but I was born here. Became poetry here. Emerged from my shell and let the world see me shine. Bright like a sun sphere here. All right, y'all. So we kicked it off with our first poem. Yeah, that is my newest piece that I finished. It's about Knoxville, clearly. I am not a Knoxville native, but I found myself here. And so I called that home. So I really, really want to to hear and answer some of your questions. Let me see, who do I have here in the Zoom? I've got Gay Marie. Hey, Gay, thank you for joining me today. Got my Aunt Barbara here joining me. So if you want to get on and ask questions, you can definitely hop into the Zoom if you want us to hear your voice for your question, or if you just want to type it here in the chat room on Instagram or on Facebook. I am here to answer any questions that you guys have about my plans for poetry in the city, and to tell you a little bit about what's going on. So yeah, thank you so much, my brother is here, y'all. My brother from another mother is in the building. Make some noise for Knoxville Symphony Orchestra and Aram. Yay. All right, so good stuff. Any questions? I'm trying to make sure I don't hear any questions. Multitasking is an art. It is, because I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Zoom right now. So I'm trying. Okay, so yes. Oh, wonderful. We got WBIR in the building. I don't know who that is from WBIR, but thanks for joining. Yay. So yes, we are here. My name is Rhea Carmon. I go by the stage name of Rhea Sunshine. I got that name from my beautiful mother, and she used to call me her little Rhea Sunshine when I was a child. And so when I started performing poetry, I decided to take that name on so that she will always take the stage with me. So there's never a time I go on stage and I don't take my mom, and I honor her. Thank you so very, very much, Miss Tina Abernathy, for birthing me into this world and allowing me to spread my wings, as weird as they may be from time to time, and and to be myself. All right. So any questions out there? Anybody want to know anything? I'm here. So I want to tell you about what's going on. We have this new thing in Knoxville called Poetry in Motion that we have started, and it is pretty awesome. So what you should see as you drive around Knoxville is there are going to be billboards with poetry, and they are just there to push you to unite and love one another. That's what we want to do with those billboards. And so you'll see some poems from myself, and also poems from your former poet laureates, Marilyn Callett and R.B. Morris. Thank you so much for championing this this position so that I could come along and be a part of it. So I have my first question. Yay. What poets inspire me? Honestly, it is crazy. Like old school poets, I love the Renaissance poets. I love Paul Laurence Dunbar. I love Langston Hughes. My absolute favorite poet is Nikki Giovanni, and she is also from Knoxville. So I got to give a shout out. That's crazy. She's always been my favorite, but I didn't know that she was a part of Knoxville until I had been here for a while. So Nikki Giovanni has always inspired me. My very first poem that I ever performed was by James Weldon Johnson. Hey, welcome, Paige. Okay, I think Paige decided she didn't want to be a part of this anymore. So, so yeah, thank you guys. I also am inspired by young poets. I absolutely love young people that write. So right now, my current inspiration is two beautiful young ladies, Leah and Elena, who have been like working so hard to do Knoxville Speaks poetry with me, and the other poets that come every now and then, but those two have really been instrumental in me being able to impact their lives, and their poems have been amazing. I asked them to come tonight, so I hope that they will come, and if they do, then hopefully you'll get to hear from them. All right. What is the best piece of writing advice that I've gotten? Okay. So the best piece of writing advice that I have ever gotten was from Saul Williams, who is another one of my favorite poets of all time. But Saul Williams is a spoken word artist, but he's also a thespian and a musician and everything. And when he came to Knoxville, oh, it's been about 17 years ago, when he came to Knoxville, I sat down and he told me, write every day. So he wanted me to write every single day. And he said that once I started writing every day, it didn't even have to make sense. It didn't have to be something I wanted to publish, but to get that out and to name my day. And the crazy thing is I started doing that. I started like actually giving my day a name. And it's amazing how that positive talk framed what I would write for the day and how I felt throughout the day and everything. So that's some of the best advice that I've ever gotten. Yeah, thanks for that question, Chloe. Appreciate you. All right. So, any other questions? If not, I am going to share another poem. So, this next piece that I am going to share is brand spanking new. Nobody has heard it because I literally just finished it last night. So you guys get to be the new audience for this new piece of poetry. And don't be too harsh on me because I'm serious about my stuff, in the words of Erykah Badu. Don't be too harsh, but I do want to share something new before I share something old. All right, so let's go with that new, super new, so new that I can't find it right now. New, okay, and it is called Pieces of My Heart. And hopefully you guys will hear this on a jazz album by Kenny. I was about to say Kenny Springs, but it is not. It is Kenny Brown. Yeah, Kenneth Brown, the drummer, jazz drummer. And hopefully you'll hear that. All right, here he goes. It takes a lot to make up a heart. Each little piece brings the joy and pain that lets you know you are alive. A mother's love jumpstarts that first connection, helping you find your passion, teaching direction, and opening your heart to love another, constant and surreal, teaching you to deal with family and friends in a world that requires poetry to help you understand each piece of the puzzle of your heart. With the frame of the puzzle in place, the inside remains to be pieced together with love for music and art, rhythms that produce the soundtrack for our stories, our lives driven by social justice and a need for change, Blackness penetrating every facet of breath, nothing except peace in the way numbers always work to make the world go round, sound echoing through our bodies, preaching equity and equality, painting the picture of our hearts. Listen to the sound of wind in the trees as nature speaks to your heart, connecting to the part of you that calls for goodness and grace, a place in the space between perfection and protection. Breathe the beauty of laughter and tears into your chest. Let them bounce off the other pieces of your heart, teach you security and self-acceptance. You are who you were always meant to be, with every piece of your heart creating a beautiful picture of love. No piece is perfect, but they all fit together to make you. So enjoy these moments like your favorite dessert and continue adding to the puzzle of your heart until each piece is where you see you as you are supposed to be. All right. So that's that new. Tell me what you think. What you think? Tell me what you think.
Awesome. I like that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Words.
That means so much.
Yes, continue to build the pieces of your heart until you are you. Wow. Beautiful words.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, y'all. Hey, if you're out there and you can like clap, show some love to Marilyn Khaled, because she is here and she is my mentor. She was the Poet Laureate before me. She is the reason that I even think that I am capable of doing something like this. So y'all show a whole lot of love to my mentor and the woman who went before me, Miss Marilyn Khaled. All right, do I have a question here? This last year, have I been more inspired to compose poetry, or has it been harder? Oh, wow. Okay, that's a great question. So this last year, and let's see, Megan, I see your question, so I'm going to answer it here in just a moment. So this last year has been crazy. I have been inspired, not necessarily to write, but to encourage others to write and to really push into their gifts. So in June and July of last year, I started Beyond the Spark, which is an online web series for spoken word artists. And we choose 6 artists per season, and they work together for 9 to 12 weeks, and they bring in brand new art that has never been created before. They work together, they write new things, and so they inspire each other and hopefully inspire other people to write their stories. I am a proponent of hearing people's stories. That's what I love. That's what poetry is to me. It's our way to share our stories and therefore our way to connect. So I have been writing and I've been inspired to create, but the biggest inspiration has been to inspire others. So that's what I have been wanting to do more than anything. All right, so Megan, you said, how can you get involved in our poetry initiatives? So the main way is right now, tell me you want to be involved. so you can message me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can message on my website, which is rheacarmon.com. You can go there and message and just let me know that you want to be involved. So what we have going on, especially if you're a poet, poets out there, please listen. If you're a poet in the city of Knoxville and you want to be involved in what we're doing for National Poetry Month, please, 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 please message me, because what we are going to be doing is we're going to be taking poetry out to the people of Knoxville. We will be at bus stops. We will be on buses. We will be in the transit station, and we will be doing some online events. And so I want as many poets as possible who are willing to go to a bus stop and share some poetry with some people that are waiting for a bus. Then there you go. That's what I want. I want as many poets as I can get involved for the entire month of April. And we're going to kick that off on April 1st. I'm going to kick it off in person at the Knoxville Transit system, their hub. So definitely get in touch. Yeah, babe, what's up?
I think last time I saw you were doing a play, right?
I don't know. When's the last time you saw me?
It's been like pre-COVID, but don't you have a poem about your mother?
I do. I have several poems about my mom. Which one are you talking about?
Maybe titled Mother. I don't remember, but it's a hard poem, correct? I mean, it's a difficult poem.
Oh, are you talking about, okay, so the last time you saw me, then we were probably at the carousel?
No, it was in Oak Ridge, but
it was in Oak Ridge, and I did a poem about my mom.
You were in the Blue Plate Special, and then you were promoting it, and then you were out there. But it was, I think I'm right on this. But
did it make me cry?
It made everybody cry.
But that's what I like to do.
But my point is, like, your new poem has a very positive look at motherhood. And if I remember correctly, some of the other works were, they were hard. I mean, it was your story. It was hard. It wasn't easy, that relationship. Am I correct?
Oh, Oh, okay. I think you have me confused with Taria. I know. I understand now. Okay.
I may have, Ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, Taria does have a poem called Mother, and it is a very hard poem. Yes.
Okay.
We do kind of look alike because she's like
Oh,
no, and we both got dreads. So
no,
I can see how that would happen. But yes, she did do that, and it did make everybody cry.
Well, it's cool though that you start this new poem, I think, with the beginning of life, with kind of the forming. It begins with mom and it goes through. And as we all know, not everybody's formed by love. Not everybody puts their life together in a way that's positive or that's beautiful or that incorporates art and music. And so what a wonderful vision of being human. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry I got you confused.
Oh, it's okay. It happens.
Y'all don't look anything alike, but I did get you confused. Thank you for
no problem.
Okay.
All right. Patricia, you said, where can you find the text to the first poem you shared? It's not anywhere yet because it's brand new, but it will be in my next book of poetry. So as soon as that comes out, you can get it. But I don't have it anywhere right now because yeah, it's brand new. All right. Let's see, any other questions? Welcome everybody that's coming in. I know that I might have missed you, so please don't think that I am not wanting to participate. If I'm like talking to somebody else, I might miss you, but know that I appreciate you being here and I love you all so very much. Let's see, can I tell you more about the distinctions and commonalities between spoken word poetry and written poetry? Oh, okay, wonderful. For me, spoken word poetry is poetry that is written so that people hear it. And written poetry is just that. It's written so that people read it. So I think that when I'm writing page poetry or, just poetry that's going to be on the page, I care more about how it appears on the page because I want it to be aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. Whereas when I write a spoken word piece, I think about how the words are going to sound because I want it to be aesthetically pleasing to the ear. So those are the differences for me. Now, somebody else might say something different, but for me, that's really how I make that distinction from when I write something strictly for the page or if I write it to be heard. And a lot of what I write so that it can be heard. And so I use a lot of those techniques like alliteration and onomatopoeia and those things because they sound good. So it's aesthetically pleasing to your ear, more musical. All right. Thank you guys. So all these questions. I feel like my event is a success. I'm feeling really good right now. Y'all making me feel like I'm loved by Knoxville. Thank you. All right. So if anybody has something that you want to hear, go ahead and shout that out or type it in a specific poem that you want to hear. If not, I'm just going to be picking some random poems, some new stuff and some old stuff. I am currently working on a book of poetry for teachers and students. For those of you who do not know, I am a teacher. And so what I am doing is I am writing a book that will hopefully help teachers make it through a school year because it will have some really positive poems in there for them. And so what I would like to do is share one of those new pieces. Like I said, I'm going to try and share as much new stuff as I can for tonight. And if you have something old that you want to hear, then I definitely want to share that with you as well. Let's see, where are we? Stories. Nope. It's coming, I promise. There it is. Sometimes you just gotta type it in. All right, so I'm super excited. Like I said, I've been teaching now for 14 years. And so I like to write things that will help teachers. All right, so This actually has two parts, and this is called lesson plans. Every teacher knows that you got to get your lesson plans ready for Monday. And sometimes you're ready and sometimes you're not. So this has two parts, and it's called lesson plans on a good Monday. Spent the weekend making sure they were right. Uploading documents, making copies, planning every minute of the lesson, making sure that if they choose to do a walkthrough or evaluation, you are prepared. But to be honest, you are scared. None of this will work. They still won't get it, no matter how many ways you have tried to make it available for their minds to comprehend, and then it happens. You see it. After weeks, something occurs to flip the switch and they get it. They believe, like mothers believe prayers, succeeding is an option and it is all worth the time you spent preparing for the time that they would receive what you've been teaching, accept what you've been preaching, they need for the next level of life. You did it for today. And then there's lesson plans on a crazy Monday. Digging through old folders on this old computer, trying to figure out what you will teach today, what will work to keep them busy, because today is a rough one, like the first day of school all over again, and you are not ready. Just hoping they don't try to come in today, visit, and force you to pretend like you are ready for them, when what you really want is the children to sit down, be quiet, and not ask any questions. Maybe this worksheet will do. No actual activities or teaching, just want to make it through this day without leaving early and never coming back, hoping that the students do not recognize the look of exhaustion on your face, trying hard to make it a good day, but it's a fight. It's a struggle, and you just want to reset. One more day added to the weekend so you can get it right and actually enter the building prepared. So that's my two parts. So y'all know, for teachers, it be like that sometimes. Sometimes you're ready and it happens and everything clicks in the classroom and all the kids get it. And then other days, it's just not like that. Some days you just need an extra day on your weekend. So that's my life as a teacher. Yay.
Rhea, when you were talking about doing it for the spoken word, you used the word musical. Do you hear a beat? I mean, I hear a beat when you read.
I do somewhat, yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that what happens is when you're passionate about something, you automatically find your own natural rhythm. And so for me, I'm passionate about everything that I write and share. And so you start to get the rhythm of my heart.
Cool.
Gay Marie, you said, what examples of names did I give my days? Okay, so like I would wake up and I would want my day to be positive. So I would name the day positivity. And so then all day I would remind myself to be positive in every situation. And most people who know me or get to spend time with me, you know that I am a pretty positive person. Like I'm the sunshine side. You know, I very rarely have those days where you don't find me being positive, but so it happens. And so that's what I would do. Or I would name my day joy. And then I would just look for joy to show up everywhere around every corner. And so that's how I named my days. And it would just be one word and I would name it and I'd look for it all day. And when I did that, I found that my poetry started to take that form. And it has kept it all these years. Were there any other questions? Yes, Auntie, you understand. You know, us teachers, I'm telling you, it'd be hard out here sometimes.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Any other questions? Oh my gosh, my friend from Huntsville, Michael Cranston. What is up, brother? I love you too. Thank you so much for being proud of me. You know, very rarely do we get to connect with sometimes the people that have been in our lives for years and years. And so what I have found is during this pandemic, I have been able to connect with friends and loved ones that I hadn't talked to for a really long time using technology and Zoom. So I have not been I have not been that upset with what's going on in with the pandemic. I had the best birthday party I ever thought I was going to have last April in the midst of a pandemic. I had almost 40 of the people that I love from all over the country show up to a Zoom birthday party. And I never would have been able to see all of them at one time pre-pandemic. So it made me be creative. And so I had to be creative in how I was connecting to people. So that was awesome. Let's see, Miss Lauren Henry says, how did I send my very first poem out into the world? Okay, so I'm going to give you a very creative answer because this is the first one that came to my mind, and then I'll actually answer it with the answer that you were looking for. And I would say I cried, because to me, our first cry is a poem. And I love it. So that's my artistic side. I told you I'm weird sometimes. So I hope y'all ready, Knoxville. I'm weird sometimes. So that was my first weird answer, Miss Lauren. But the first poem that I actually wrote and penned, it never made it to the world. When I was 15 years old is when I first started really getting serious about writing poems. And I had a notebook probably about this thick. And what happened was, so one day, I don't know if the people in my school were cleaning out lockers or whatever, it was there one day in my locker and it was gone the next day, and I never got it back. So those first poems I did not share. But the first poem that I wrote as, I guess, Ray of Sunshine, I shared at Knoxville College. And they used to do this thing called Cafe Noir. And so I went to Cafe Noir and I shared that poem. And it was a poem called Chocolate Beauty. And it was how I encouraged myself to love my skin. Because for a long time, as a darker skinned Black woman, I struggled with my self-image and knowing that I was beautiful. And so I wrote this poem to myself to encourage myself to see myself as a chocolate beauty. And I shared that at Cafe Noir. So there's our two answers. All right. Any other questions? I want to answer any questions that you guys have. Please ask. We've been on here for 30 minutes already, and I am so excited. You guys have really been engaging and answering questions. And welcome, Raven. I'm so glad that you are here. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, this goes to me being a teacher, but it also just goes to how much I love people. Well, I shared Chocolate Beauty now. If I can find it, I'll look for it. I promise I will. Give me a second. I'm gonna be looking and talking, and I'm gonna try and share it with you. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we were supposed to, Aram knows this, we were supposed to go to Washington, D.C., and I was supposed to perform on the stage of the Kennedy Center. And it was going to be like life-changing, like the best thing that ever happened to me in my spoken word career. I was so excited. My aunt was coming, my mama was coming, everybody was flying. And then COVID said, oh, no, you don't. And it's, and they canceled the event and I didn't get to go. And honestly, I was depressed for about 3 weeks because I had wanted to go so bad. So at the end of that 3 weeks, I decided to start a new project called Every Day I'm Writing. And I decided to write throughout the pandemic. We did a video for our students because for us, the first 2 weeks of the shutdown were spring break. And so our kids weren't really fazed by it because we're out for 2 weeks for spring break anyways, like we're out right now for our 2 weeks. And so our kids weren't fazed by it. Well, the third week when I'm starting to get over my depression, we were like, oh my goodness, our kids are going to be home. They're not coming back to school. And so I wrote this poem for the staff that I work with and my students, and for everybody else that will have the joy of hearing it or reading it. Just to let you know that you're not alone, because during this pandemic and all of the things that have been going on, you can feel alone. All right, so here we go. The crazy thing is this isn't the first time that we've been here. Separated from love and touch, looking for the eyes of another to provide the peace in the midst of our storm, searching for answers and understanding. This is not the first time that I have sat alone, needing a hug that will never come. Not the only moments that I wondered if I really like myself enough to spend this much time questioning whether I am enough for those who are trapped here with me. This is not the first time. So I will not treat it any differently. I will write beauty to remind myself that it exists. I will pen pain to get it out of my system. I will shake fear off with the weights of depression. I will teach with the power of knowledge learned, and I will invite the solace to provide a deeper understanding of self. This is not the first time. Sorry about that, guys. This is not the first time. Oh, I lost my place. That you will feel trapped. Just know that I am here, going through these moments with you, so you will never be alone. There is nothing that we go through that is new, and our energy is transferred through these words, these fingers, these moments. If you could only make it outside and look up, we see the same sky and watch the same stars glimmer, knowledge of worlds we have yet to experience. We have been here before, and we will be here again. So find peace in knowing that you are not alone. All right. I should probably set it to mute people when they first enter into the Zoom. Welcome, my brother from another mother, Black Atticus. Thank you so much for joining this Zoom with us.
Hey.
Hey. All right. So really what I want to do through poetry over the time that I will be your poet laureate is I want to generate conversations. And so what it would really help me is that those of you who do live in the city of Knoxville is what conversations do you feel we need to start having in our city? And I will write about those, and hopefully that poetry will start to generate those conversations. So if you guys don't mind sharing those things that you think we should start having some conversations about, that you see in our city, that you want to see fixed, and we are going to use the powerful word to be that thing that takes us into those conversations, because the word can do it so eloquently. It can just do it so beautifully. So we really want to use the word to start generating some conversations in our city to take us to the next level, because I believe that Knoxville is a very beautiful, beautiful place, and I want the world to see. So I got some ideas. I'm gonna share those with y'all towards the end, because I got big ideas. Black Atticus knows I try to take over the world every time I have.
Try to take over the world.
I try to take over the world. I try to do it. I watched too much Pinky and the Brain when I was a little kid, and and I really do try to take over the world every time I have an idea. So thank you, Raven. That means so much. Okay, I'm trying to find Chocolate Beauty. I'm trying to find it. I think it's in my first book, which I do not have a copy of next to me. I don't know. Maybe if my husband is watching, he will bring me a copy of my first book, because it is in my first book. It's in the book that is called Lyrical Abacus, very first book of poetry, and it's got all of my earliest poems in it. But I think that I might be able to find it somewhere in this thing I call a Google Drive. So nope, not there. All right, so any other questions? Do I plan to continue to hold poetry sessions in Oak Ridge from time to time? Absolutely. Gabe, we will start in June. We will start. Is June an even month? Yes. Okay, so we're starting in June with Secret City Poetry Nights. We'll be back. at the Grove Theater, 8 o'clock p.m. every second Friday of even months. And the reason why we're doing it on even months is because on odd months, we will be at the bottom in Knoxville. So I will be doing 2 monthly open mics. One will be at the bottom in Knoxville. If you have not visited the bottom, it is an amazing place to go and visit and peruse and talk to Dr. Nkechi Elamine because she is doing great work in the community. It is in East Knoxville, and I'm going to get you the address right now because I don't have it memorized, but I will get it for you right now. So we will be at the bottom on odd months. So every second Friday, I will be doing some sort of poetry event starting in May. So the first one will be at the bottom. That's a 5th month. And then 6th month will be in Oak Ridge. 7th month back in Knoxville. 8th month back in Oak Ridge. So that's how we're going to do. We're going to bounce back and forth and all that good stuff. Also, we will be doing, let me see, the bottom. There it is. Okay. We will be doing the 5th Woman 2021. Check it out. So those of you who are fans of the 5th Woman, who've ever been to a 5th Woman, then I want you to know what is going on with us. We have still been pushing. Okay, the bottom is at 2020 Randolph Road, East Knoxville. Okay. And it is a great place for community, celebrating culture, and learning about the Black culture of East Knoxville and Appalachia. So I also want to put like a shameless plug in here for oh goodness, my brain just really slowed down. Oh, somebody type it for me. Appalachia podcast, Dr. Nkechi Elamine. You know what I'm talking about. Brain just slowed down. But if you know it, type it so I can say it so that everybody can start listening to it, because it is like they made it into the New York Times as one of the best podcasts in the nation, and Black in Appalachia. There we go. Oh, I told you, this brain is gone. It's still firing. It's still giving me a little bit of something. So Black in Appalachia is a podcast you want to listen to. That is out of Knoxville, everybody, and it is national. It has made it into the New York Times as one of the best podcasts in the nation. Black in Appalachia. All right, so now let's go. Let's see. I don't think I can find that poem right now, and I am so sorry. But who asked for that poem? Somebody asked for me to do Chocolate Beauty. Who asked for that poem?
I did, Gay Marie. But you can do it when you come to Oak Ridge in June.
Yes. Next time, come to my event, and I promise I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it.
Sounds
all right. Good. My sister India is up in the building. Hey, and my brother Martin, yes, about to get married. I'm so proud of y'all, and I love you. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, let's see. 40th anniversary of World's Fair will be next year. I'd love a poem about when the world came. That's when I came from Columbia. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. I will work on that. So let me understand, Patricia, your story is that you moved from Columbia to Knoxville the year that the World's Fair came to Knoxville, right? If that's correct, just, yeah, let me know, because I would love to hear your story and to help tell your story, all right? Because, yeah. College student at ETSU, and you're gonna, okay, yes. Okay, Raven, I'm so glad that you're on here. College students from ETSU. My nephew coaches track and field at ETSU. So yeah, tell him I said, hey. Wonderful kid. All right, so y'all got about 18 more minutes with me. So if you have any questions, please shoot them in any of the chats And I would love to answer your questions. And yes, Patricia, I'm going to put that on my list of things that we're going to talk about. When the world came, I always wanted to do a little more research on World's Fair and all that has happened in Knoxville. Do I have a Facebook or Instagram? Absolutely. My Facebook is my name, Rhea Carmon, or you could also look up Rhea Sunshine Poetry. And my Knoxville is, I mean, not my Knoxville, my Instagram is Rhea Sunshine Poetry. So there you go. That's how you can always find me. And my website is rheacarmon.com. All right. And if you want to tip or anything like that tonight, you can find me on Cash App as Rhea Sunshine Poetry. And I'm also on PayPal, Rhea Carmon. All right. What makes Knoxville unique, special, or memorable? Okay, yes, I love that. I would really like to get some feedback from more people in Knoxville. So maybe we can, I don't know if Paige or American Cannon is still on, but if you guys are still on, if there's a way for us to, like, I don't know, open up a page where people can say what is memorable or special or unique about Knoxville for them, and then I can put it all into a poem. That I think will be awesome. And actually, which is it's all a part of what I want to do next year for National Poetry Month, which is to get video of people all over the city talking about how they love poetry and how they love Knoxville, and to make it into a big video montage poetry that just goes out all over the city for the whole month. All right. And let's see. We also got that one. There we go. All right. So Maker City. Hey, that's Ann. I think that's Ann. Let's see. When did I start using the moniker Ray of Sunshine? Oh, okay. So I started calling myself Ray of Sunshine when I was at that Cafe Noir. I didn't want to put my name down. And like I said, my mom nicknamed me Ray of Sunshine as a baby. She used to always tell me that I was her little Ray of Sunshine because I'm her only daughter. And so she called me Ray of Sunshine. And so I put that down on the paper when I went to perform for the first time, because I was so nervous. I was incredibly nervous to be sharing my poetry for the first time. And so I didn't want anybody to know who I really was. And so that's why I call myself Ray Sunshine. Just stole it out of there. All right. Okay, you said Raven says she struggles with writing sometimes. And what are some tips for those who get writer's block? Okay, so for me, it's just to vomit onto the page. But I have an even better technique, and I'm not even going to take credit for it. This goes to my homegirl, Queen Sheba, who was just nominated for a Grammy. She did not win, but she was nominated for a Grammy for a song that she did with Robert Glasper. And so she did a workshop for my youth just this past week, and she taught me this technique. So I'm going to teach it to you, because that's what we do as poets. We share that stuff. Okay. So one technique is to take the topic that you are writing about, and not necessarily write a poem, but write a list of all of the things that come to mind when you think of that thing. And then, so you write a list of 10, if it's a shorter poem, a list of 10, if it's a longer poem, you can do like a list of 20, or you just keep listing. Okay. And then you want to also write a shorter list. And for us, we did 10, 3, 3. So the shorter list is of another person's point of view of that same thing. So I'm going to give you the example we did on what it's like to be a strong woman. And so we wrote 10 things on what made each of us, what made me think that I'm a strong woman. So I wrote those 10 things. And then I wrote 3 things. This is a second list that I did. I wrote 3 things that were things other people think makes a strong woman. So that was the other point of view. So that brings in that second point of view. And then the last list is 3 funny things. And so those funny things were things that I had to forgive myself for. So even as a strong woman, there were some things that I had to forgive myself for. And so I wrote 3 things that were funny that I had to forgive myself for, like the fact that I can get trapped for about an hour on TikTok, just scrolling and laughing at people. Okay, so that was one of the things that I have to forgive myself for. So those 3 lists, okay, so the list of 10, then 2 lists of 3. And then you go back to write the poem. So the poem is 1, 2, 3. That's the first 3 from your list. And then you insert one of the other point of views. And then you do 4, 5, 6. Insert the second point of view, right? And then 7, 8, 9. Insert the third point of view. And then you put your 3 funny things, or the 3, kind of different quirky things that go in. And then you put number 10 at the bottom. That's just how you can start a poem. Well, now once you have that kind of done, you can go back and add your poetic language and make it more what you want it to be. But what it does is it gets you thinking and it gets you going. All right. So that's just one thing that I do when I'm struggling to write. I just did that. Matter of fact, I did that for the poem that I read for you guys a little earlier, where I was talking about the pieces of the heart. So that is a poem that I'm writing. Oh, my best friend just joined. He's gonna make me cry. I did that poem for, like I said, it's for Kenneth Brown, and it's going to go to some of his jazz. Well, I was really struggling because I would hear pieces of my heart and I was like, oh, was I supposed to write something lovey-dovey? And then I was like, man, bump it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to start writing my list. And that's exactly what I did. And that's the poem that came out, which it doesn't sound like a list poem once you get in there and do all your little magic to it, but it starts off as 3 lists. So hopefully that helped, Raven.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And you said you're at ETSU. If you ever want to come to one of our writing workshops, we do them every Tuesday. I do them with my youth, which they are middle school and high schoolers. But if you ever wanted to come just to be a part of something new, just message me and I would be glad to send you the Zoom link and you can come and write with us.
I would like
Rhea?
to thank you.
Yes, baby.
How you were saying topics that we'd like to hear from you about. It's
yeah.
How do you avoid race in today's conversation? From George Floyd to social justice to Black Lives Matter, and I guess we're so polarized as a society. And there's so many different points of view that, to me, one of the things that needs to happen is just to have the hard conversations. It would be wonderful if a poem invited us into that space. Certainly, there's lots of points of view. There's anger. There's ignorance. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But I would really like something that enlightened and invited. And address that topic because it's real.
Okay. Now, if I'm going to bounce something back to you, can you get people to come out and have that conversation with me when I write that?
You bet.
Okay, then we'll do it. We will do it. I got Paige Travis right here on Instagram. Paige, you heard that? This is what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to have some poetry and we're going to bring about some topics about race and different points of view, and we're going to have some conversations. So yeah, hope you're ready, Paige. I'm not stopping. We're going to keep on going, girl. All right, so yes, we will. I will talk to her and we will get some stuff together, and I really, really would love to have those conversations. Thank you for actually bringing that. And I don't avoid race, not at all. As a matter of fact, the next poem that I'm going to read to you is one that I finally got out. I think it took me years to to get this poem out. And it is available. You can watch it on YouTube if you'd like. You can also listen to it on Spotify, because I feel like this is a piece that needs to be heard. And so the title of this poem is called After the Black. And it kind of talks about a lot of the things that you just mentioned. So here we go. There are few things that are obvious from a first glance at me. The most obvious thing to see is that I am Black. And I suppose you could stop there. You could allow that to put a wall between you and I, or you could see it as an immediate connect with me. However, I fear that you would have only scratched the surface of my essence. What will you do after the Black? After you have judged whether I match or clash your perception, following that initial reaction, will you care to know my story? Because you can't know immediately that I identify as a heterosexual. You can't know that I am married with children, that I wish daily that my children could meet the man that raised me and climb into his lap to call him Pops, that my mother speaks to me every time I cross her mind, because her spirit is connected to me and she is my first hero. There is no way for you to know that I see the world in poetry and numbers, because they are the only things that are real and tangible to me, and that my love is expressed in one of these two ways to every person in my life. What will you miss if you never make it past the Black? How many hugs that can change your day or mood will you miss out on? How much inspiration and strength will you fail to ever see? How many problems will you never solve? How much understanding will you miss? How much love? If you only see me as comrade or foe, have you truly looked? I am broken by the people that spread hatred through their gaze, judging, pulling triggers or closing doors, forgetting to see human before difference, spreading lies and division without first thinking golden, finding reasons to remove a story by only looking skin deep. Religion deep, party deep, sexuality deep, paycheck deep. For whatever you have chosen your Black to be, what will it take for you to see after it? To see one another as humanity, to know that somebody has loved or been loved by another, looked up at the same sky and seen the same sun, gazed into the night and shared the same stars, closed their eyes to sleep or die, and met the same darkness. We are all looking for the light, looking through mirrors to see ourselves as more than just a list of Black that somebody may not accept. I've learned to love myself. My dark skin and coiled hair, I find power in its energy. I don't always fit in where it seems I should. I keep quiet on issues until I can write about them. I struggle to let people in to love me, but I give love freely, trusting that I will never run out of love for myself. I fight my body against its attempts to break down daily. I am a survivor of more than this Blackness. My father taught me that I was Black and beautiful, making sure that I understood there is more after the Black. There is beauty deeper than this melanin, more to me than the Black. I will never allow myself to stop there or even see it as a weakness or flaw. It is me as much as my quirky personality and belief in God without limitations. It is the understanding that I am made in that image and I have no limitations. I am creation made perfect just the way I am. So I embrace the flaws and imperfections, the hard days and glorious transitions. There is nothing wrong with any part of who I am. Every attribute is marked with part of what exists. I am beautiful beyond the Black. I am Mother Earth with treasures in my words, giving birth to lightning, oceans, and fire. There is prophecy in my gardens. My father named me Rhea, calling me to motherhood. I am more than that initial glance, and you will never know until you see me after the Black. And so that was that one. And I think I did talk about, quite a few of the things that you had mentioned with that one. Just because, yeah, they are a part of me and they are a part of who I am. Let's see. Pale Green Points. All right. An American poet that I admire. Oh, there's so many. Oh my goodness. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, I absolutely love Nikki Giovanni. She is one of my favorite poets of all time. Um, of course, everybody admires Amanda Gorman right now because she so eloquently did the trade-off for our presidency on inaugural day. And then there are just spoken word poets all over the nation that I admire. I look up to, and probably two of my closest poetry friends are going to be Blues the Poet, and you can find him on Instagram as Blues Blues Blues. He is an three-time Emmy Award-winning poet. I mentioned Queen Sheba earlier. She is a close friend, and I look up to her very much just for her grind. And I've never met a poet that works harder than her. In the city, I look up to Marilyn Callett. She is my mentor. She pushes me in more ways than she will ever know. And so I honor her every time I get a chance. I love my poetry brother who is on the Zoom with me right now. That's Black Atticus. He is one of the dopest poets that Knoxville has ever seen. And I want an Emmy too, Black. So I'm working on that. I'm working on it, getting that Emmy. I promise I am. And and let's see. Who else? There's so many. There's so many poets that I admire. Desana Hanu, who just put out a new book. He is a poet that I admire because he's also like a professor of hip hop. I mean, you know, who goes to Harvard for hip hop and poetry? So I definitely admire him. And and he's a good friend of mine. And that's the list would just have to keep going and we would run out of time. So any other questions? Guys, we made it. We made it an hour. Thank you, everybody who stuck in there with me. We are hitting, it is about to be 7 o'clock. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. You said you need, hold on, somebody's messaging me a question. Oh, okay, awesome. The months on Poetry Workshop straight. Okay, so odd months are going to be in Knoxville at the bottom. Even months are going to be in Oak Ridge at the Grove. So definitely I will have some amazing poets coming to feature and all of that good stuff. At the ones at the bottom, we are going to focus on getting stories from East Knoxville. So if you know people who have stories, what I am doing is I am putting together a book of poetry that will tell the stories of East Knoxville and its growth and its changes and the many changes that it has gone through over the years. So if you know anybody, please invite them out to those because I really want to hear those stories at that. Oh, thank you, Auntie. That means a lot to me. It just means a lot that you are here sharing this with me. Let's see, any other questions before I kind of signed off, before I get ready to sign off? Hey, how you doing? Who's that? Jay Hayes. Jay Hayes. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. I like that line too. I think that Ben, I think that if we could just look at other people as having some of the same experiences as we have had, that we might be able to find a little more humanity and get past, in my case, well, in any case, the Black. That's why I said, whatever you choose your Black to be, because even as a Black person, Black people choose their Black to be something else, you know? Finding a reason to separate ourselves is not what we need to look for. We have to look for those reasons to connect. All right, so I do want to let you all know that we will do another Meet Your Poet Laureate with the Maker City in May. I don't remember the date, so please forgive me. But if you join my mailing list through my website, I will be happy to send you updates on a monthly basis. So I will be sending out everything that I do on a monthly basis as an email, just to kind of keep you up to date, and so that you can be a part. Please, if you see a billboard and it's got my name and a poem on it, take a picture of yourself and I don't know, don't get in trouble, like don't get in no accidents or anything like that. That's bad. But like go on Facebook or Instagram and say hashtag I saw a billboard with our Poet Laureate on it, and hashtag Poetry in Motion. So Knoxville Poetry in Motion, we're kicking that bad boy off on April 1st. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you need to go, you are welcome to, but I'll stay on here until nobody else wants to talk to me. I'm not going to leave.
Sunshine, I enjoy. Love you. Hi, Tina.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Yes, we love you, Ray Ray.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody else has any more questions, go ahead and shoot those to me. I'll try to answer them before I sign off here. Or if anybody has any poem that they want to hear before I go.
I was just hoping for the eventually the conversation about funding for artists in schools to come teach in schools to the art.
Okay. So the great thing here is that you can apply with the Tennessee Arts Commission to be a teaching artist. So if you are an artist and you would like to be in the schools, you can apply with them to be a teaching artist. You just have to have some support, like some letters of support from a teacher that says, hey, this person in my classroom would be amazing. And then 2 other letters of support, and then they will put you on a list. Now, what that does is it makes it okay for schools all over the state of Tennessee to invite you into classrooms or invite you to schools. You can do PDs for teachers, all of that. And those schools can apply to the Tennessee Arts Commission for up to $3,000 grants. And then they pay you from those grants.
Okay, awesome. What is it called again?
It's called being a teaching artist. My mama is on here, y'all. She figured out some technology so she could come see her baby, and that just makes me feel so loved. Thank you for being here, Mommy.
Hey, Mama.
Thank you so much for being here, Mommy. Have I wrote any books? Yes, I have 4 books. They are all available on Amazon, and you just type in my name, Rhea Carmon, and all 4 of them will come up. So I have 4 books. One is from when I was way back in college, and you could probably tell because the writing isn't that great. And I've come a long way since then. Then there's one from earlier in my marriage and career. And then there is one from a little later. And then the most recent one is called Through the Clouds. And that is the most recent book where I talk about just how life has been for me in the last, I'd say about 10 years. Yeah, because my son's about 10. Thank you, Carl, for telling me that it was awesome. I appreciate you. You make me feel so loved. All right.
Rhea, I had a question about publishing in journals. Did you ever publish a poem at a time in various journals, or are you mostly self-published as books, or how did you do that?
Well, okay, so when I was young, I was published in a couple of journals just as a youth poet. I have no idea where those journals are or where that was, because I wasn't serious back then. Since then, I have self-published all of my books, and hopefully the next book will be published professionally. And I've been talking to a publisher about getting the next book of poetry out there. And so I have never sent anything off to journals. I know that I probably should, but because I really started off as a slam poet, I I never really went that route that most page poets go. So that's the submissions to all of the journals and being published that way. So I came to page poetry like the long way. I went around, and then I still am struggling sometimes to be a page poet. But but I started as a slam poet. And so the number one thing as a slam poet is to not show up for a feature and not have product. And so what we used to do to create chapbooks was we would take a piece of cardstock and you put your poems in there, and you fold it in half and staple it in the middle so that you could go somewhere and be able to sell product, because that's how we made money as slam poets. And so that's how I got started. Literally, I used to fold books together and staple them.
Cool.
That's how I
So,
started.
where were the slams that you went to, and what kind of schedule?
Oh my
Curious.
goodness. When I first started doing slam poetry, my schedule was pretty hectic. We would do slams twice a month in Knoxville. And that was the Knoxville Poetry Slam back when I was the slam master. And so the Knoxville Poetry Slam was twice a month, and we would do those slams in Knoxville. And then I would travel on Fridays that I wasn't doing KPS. I would travel to other cities and perform. So that's how I went to Nashville, and I performed with Love Noise way back in the day, and I got to meet Macy Gray because I opened for her, and I was on like their DVD and stuff like that, because I would go to Nashville and perform. I went down to Florida, University of Florida, and I performed there. I went to Moritz College of Law in Ohio, and I performed. I went to California and performed.
How did you make the connections?
Oh, okay. So the slam world has these competitions, and they're like pretty big. So there's Southern Fried Poetry Competition, which happens every June, and it's for the Southeast and the Southern states. And so we go there and you make connections. And then once you're performing and you're a good poet there, then other slam masters invite you to feature at their events. And so, and then you go to nationals, which National Poetry Slam happens in August of every year. And so when you go to nationals, then you make more connections and you meet more slam masters from all over the country. And then they're like, oh, you were so awesome, I need you to come to my city. And so then they would invite you. So that's how I performed quite a bit and all over the country way back then.
So when you went to the June slams, did you have to win in order to go to the nationals? Sounds kind of like the Olympics.
It is. It's the Olympics of slam poetry. That's exactly what it is. And so you would have to win at Southern Fried to get paid for to go to nationals. But you could register as a team to go to nationals even if you didn't win Southern Fried. You just would have to pay for it, like your team would have to pay for it. So back in the day, we used to do these huge fundraisers and like bring in thousands of dollars in one night just to send our team to National Poetry Slams.
How many people were in the team?
A team of 5.
All right.
And I would love for Knoxville to start participating in slams again. So maybe we'll be able to get back in it.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. I think I got everybody's questions. If I missed you, just, shout out or type it in there.
How did you become Ray of Sunshine?
Oh, well, Mommy, you missed it. I gave you all kinds of props and big ups earlier, but I became Ray of Sunshine because my mommy called me her Ray of Sunshine. And the very first time that I performed on the microphone, I used it as my moniker, and it never left. So every time I take the stage, my mommy goes with me. That's what I said earlier.
I love you.
I love you too, you beautiful woman. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for being a part of Meet Your Poet Laureate. If you have any further questions, please message me, email me, send a pigeon or a dove. If you want to attend a poetry workshop, please let me know. I would be happy to have you at one of the workshops that we do throughout the year. And if you're interested in being a part of the Fifth Woman or in being a poet that is featured with the Fifth Woman, please message me as well. I am Rhea Sunshine, and I go by Rhea Sunshine on Instagram and Facebook, Rhea Sunshine Poetry. Thank you so much. Thank you, Megan. I appreciate it. Your cover is sick, Megan. I just want you to know, like, I love it. I love it. We have to work together. We have to do some stuff together. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to sign off now. You have a lovely evening. Thank you for listening to all of my poems and for asking me questions. And be blessed and know that your Poet Laureate is at work for you. Peace out.